Years of neglect pushed me away. Mom said, "You owe me another chance." But after jail time for unpaid child support, she wants back in my life. Here's the story. So here's the deal. I, 32M, had let's call it a unique childhood. My mom, bless her heart, and I mean that with the most sarcastic tone humanly possible, was a masterclass in neglect. Not the oops, I forgot to pick you up from school kind. More like the I'm going to the casino with my boyfriend and you'll figure it out kind. The constant what ifs haunt me. What if she had genuinely cared? What if I had tried harder to reach her? These questions are a relentless internal torment, a constant buzzing in the back of my mind, especially when I'm alone in quiet moments. Dad bailed when I was like 5. Poof. Gone. I remember the day he left. A slammed door, a raised voice, and then silence. Mom? She was more interested in her revolving door of boyfriends and her self-care, read getting wasted at the local dive bar, than, parenting. Food was mostly ramen, if I was lucky. Sometimes I'd find expired cans in the back of the pantry, their contents a mystery. Clothes, hand-me-downs from the neighbor's kid who was 3 sizes too big. I'd roll up the sleeves and pant legs, trying to look presentable, but always feeling like a misfit. School supplies? Forget about it. I learned to hustle, to be resourceful. I'd borrow pens and notebooks from classmates, promising to return them, knowing I never would. Basically, I raised myself, a feral child in a broken home, a broken mirror in the bathroom, a recurring symbol of my fractured childhood, still flashes in my memory when I see one, a reminder of the shattered reflection of normalcy. Fast forward to my teens. Things didn't get better. She started getting into drugs, and the boyfriends got progressively worse. They'd bring in their own chaos, their own addictions, their own violence. The house turned into a crack den, and I spent most nights at friends' places, couch surfing. I'd make up excuses, saying I was studying late or helping with a project. I didn't want them to know the truth. I worked odd jobs to pay for food and the occasional bus fare. Washing dishes at a greasy spoon, stocking shelves at the local grocery, anything to keep myself fed. The smell of stale cigarettes and cheap liquor, a constant backdrop of my teenage years, still triggers a wave of nausea, a visceral reminder of those dark times. Then the child support drama started. See, my dad, bless his soul, again, heavy sarcasm, was ordered to pay child support. Mom, being the genius she is, never bothered to collect it. Too much paperwork, she'd whine, lighting another cigarette, her eyes glazed over. But when the state finally caught on, they went after her for years of unpaid support. That's when the fun began. She got arrested, not once, but twice. First time, she was out in a few days. Second time, she did a few weeks. Each time, she tried to guilt trip me, acting like I was the one ruining her life. "How could you let them do this to me?" She'd scream, her voice laced with self-pity and anger. "I'm your mother." Her words, manipulative and cutting, still echo in my mind, a constant reminder of her emotional abuse. Yeah, a mother who pawned my Nintendo to buy scratch-off tickets. A small thing, but a symbol of the countless times she chose her own fleeting pleasures over my well-being. Anyway, I finally got out of that hellhole at 18. Scholarship, part-time job, tiny apartment. I cut contact, like full ghost mode. Blocked her number, deleted her social media, moved without telling her where. I needed to heal, to build a life for myself. There was a constant fear of repeating patterns, a fear I would become as neglectful as her, a fear that I carried like a heavy weight. And I did. I got my degree, landed a decent job, met my now wife Sarah. She's a saint, seriously. We have a nice house, 2 cats, the whole shebang. Life was good. Sarah, a woman of her own complex past, understands the need for boundaries, and yet also the human capacity for change. She listened to my stories, not with pity, but with understanding, offering a safe harbor in my turbulent sea. Until last week. I get a text from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Mom." My blood ran cold. A wave of panic washed over me, a flashback to the chaos of my youth, the yelling, the instability, the constant fear. Apparently, she got out of rehab, again, and someone gave her my number. She's acting like nothing happened, like we're just picking up where we left off. "Honey, I've changed. I'm a new person. I want to be a part of your life." She wants to be a part of my life? After years of neglect, after landing in jail twice because she couldn't be bothered to parent, after making my childhood a living hell, the sheer audacity of her request made my blood boil. She wants to meet Sarah, wants to see my house, wants to make up for lost time, as if years of damage could be erased with a few pleasantries. I told her no, flat out no. I told her she had no right to my life, that she gave up that right years ago. I told her to leave me alone, to never contact me again. Now everyone's telling me I'm being too harsh. Sarah's even saying I should at least hear her out. People can change, she says. Maybe she really has. Her voice, usually so supportive, held a hesitant uncertainty, a flicker of doubt. My friends are split. Some are like, dude, she's your mom, you gotta give her a chance. Others are like, hell no, protect your peace. They saw the scars, they knew the stories, they understood the need for self-preservation. Update 1. Okay, so I got some DMs and a lot of you are saying I'm NTA, which I appreciate. Some of you are telling me to go to therapy, which, yeah, I'm working on. But here's the thing. I'm not just dealing with the neglect. There's more. The survivor's guilt, the why me, still eats at me. A constant gnawing at my conscience. Remember those boyfriends? One of them, let's call him Creepy Carl, was inappropriate. He'd play with me, touch me in ways that made me feel sick. I was too young to understand what was happening, but I knew it was wrong. The feeling of his hands, the smell of his cheap cologne, the way he'd look at me, it's all etched in my memory. Mom, she brushed it off. He's just being friendly, she'd say, her voice dismissive, her eyes glazed over. Don't be dramatic. I never told anyone, not until years later in therapy. And even now, I can't talk about it without wanting to throw up. The memory, a dark, hidden room in my mind, still makes me tremble, a place I try to avoid, but that always finds a way to resurface. So, yeah, giving her a chance feels like a giant middle finger to my inner child, who's still screaming in the dark, still reliving trauma. She showed up at my work. Yeah, you read that right. She found my workplace and showed up during my lunch break. She was wearing this outfit. Think leopard print leggings, a sequin top, and way too much glitter. She smelled like cheap perfume and cigarettes, a toxic cloud that filled the air. She started yelling my name, drawing everyone's attention. I tried to ignore her, to pretend I didn't see her, but she wouldn't stop. Security finally escorted her out, but not before she screamed, "You'll regret this," a threat that echoed through the office. My boss was not thrilled. He told me to take the rest of the day off. I'm mortified. Sarah's pissed. She said this is exactly why I shouldn't have given her any opening, any hint of vulnerability. The lawyer, a stoic woman named Miss Evans, watched the workplace security footage with a grim expression. Her eyes narrowed, her lips pursed. I'm thinking about getting a restraining order. Update 2. Restraining order is in process. My lawyer said it shouldn't be a problem given her history. Miss Evans laid out the legal process, her voice calm and professional, but her eyes held a spark of righteous anger. But here's the kicker. She started posting on social media, publicly, about me, about how I'm abandoning her, how I'm ungrateful, how I'm turning my back on family. She's even posting old photos of me as a kid with these sob stories about how much she loves and misses me. The hypocrisy is staggering. People are eating it up. The comments are a mix of, "You go, Mom," and "He's a monster." I've had to disable my notifications. The constant barrage of negativity is overwhelming. Sarah's furious. She wants me to go public with my side of the story, to expose my mom for the liar she is. But I don't want to drag my past into the spotlight. The thought of reliving those moments, of having to defend myself against strangers, is exhausting. I caved. I posted a short, vague statement on social media, basically saying that there's more to the story than she's letting on, and that I'm taking steps to protect myself. I didn't go into details, but I hinted at the abuse, at the darkness I endured. The reaction was intense. Some people are still on her side, calling me a liar, a manipulator. But a lot of people are starting to ask questions. Some of my old friends, the ones who saw what was happening back then, have even come forward with their own stories. One of them, let's call her Lisa, posted about how she saw Creepy Carl touching me and how she told her parents, but they didn't believe her. The memory of Lisa's worried face, her small hand reaching out to me, is a bittersweet reminder of kindness in a cruel world. Another, Mike, posted about how he'd bring me food because he knew I wasn't eating at home. Mike's generosity, a lifeline in my desperate circumstances, is something I'll never forget. It's overwhelming. I'm getting so many messages, some supportive, some hateful. I'm trying to focus on work and my wife, but it's hard. The emotional toll is immense, the weight of the past pressing down on me. The restraining order was granted. She's not allowed within 100 yards of my home, my workplace, or Sarah. A small victory, but it provides a measure of security. But she's not backing down. She's started contacting my extended family, trying to get them on her side. She's even called my grandparents, who are in their 80s, and told them I'm turning into a cold, heartless monster. The thought of her manipulating my elderly grandparents, of poisoning their minds against me, fills me with rage. My grandparents, bless their hearts, are confused. They don't know the whole story. They just see a mother and son who aren't talking. Their innocent view of family, their belief in inherent goodness, makes them vulnerable to her lies. I had to have a long, painful conversation with them, explaining everything. They were horrified. They told me they support me, but they also said they hope I can find a way to forgive her someday. The impossibility of forgiveness hung heavy in the air, a vast chasm between our perspectives. She started a GoFundMe, claiming she needs money for legal fees to fight for her rights as a mother. She's using my childhood photos, and she's even fabricated stories about how I was always a difficult child and how she did her best. The audacity of it all is a fresh wound, a constant reminder of her manipulative nature. People are donating. A lot of people. I've reported the GoFundMe, but they said they can't take it down unless there's proof of fraud. The platform's bureaucracy, their reluctance to get involved, is frustrating. My lawyer is looking into it, but he says it's a gray area. Miss Evans, usually so composed, seemed genuinely disgusted, her professional demeanor momentarily slipping. I feel like I'm living in a nightmare, a twisted reality where my abuser is being celebrated. Update 4. Okay, so this is where it gets absolutely insane. Someone sent me a link to a local news story. Turns out my mom has been going around to local churches claiming she's a single mother abandoned by her son and asking for donations. She's been using the same sob story, the same childhood photos. The religious setting, the appeal to compassion, is a particularly insidious tactic. And people are giving her money, like a lot of money. The generosity of others meant for good is being exploited for her own selfish gain. The news story even interviewed her. She's crying, saying how she just wants her son back, how she's changed, how she's a victim. Her performance, a grotesque parody of motherhood, made my skin crawl. The crocodile tears, the dramatic sighs, the carefully crafted narrative, it's all a calculated act. I'm speechless. I feel like I'm watching a train wreck in slow motion, a disaster unfolding before my eyes, and I'm powerless to stop it. My lawyer said this might be considered fraud since she's misrepresenting her situation. We're gathering evidence. Miss Evans is working tirelessly, her dedication a stark contrast to my mother's deceit. Update 5. My lawyer filed a cease and desist letter against her, demanding she stop soliciting donations under false pretenses. We also sent a letter to the local news station pointing out the inaccuracies in their story. The legal battle is escalating, a fight for truth and justice. The news station issued a retraction, but the damage is done. My mom is now a local celebrity, the poor, abandoned mother. The court of public opinion, swayed by her lies, is a formidable opponent. She's even started giving interviews to smaller online news outlets. She's twisting the story, making me out to be the villain. She's claiming I'm mentally unstable, that I'm being manipulated by my wife, that I'm trying to ruin her life. The cycle of abuse, a relentless, suffocating force, seemed determined to repeat itself, a vicious loop I can't escape. Sarah is furious. She wants to go public with everything, to expose my mom for the liar she is, but I'm hesitant. I don't want to drag Sarah into this mess. Her own past, a story she rarely shares, makes her protective of our peace, a shared understanding of the fragility of happiness. Update 6. Things have escalated. My mom showed up at a local charity event where Sarah was volunteering. She started yelling at Sarah, calling her names, accusing her of stealing her son. Security had to escort her out. The public confrontation, the invasion of Sarah's space, is a violation of our boundaries. Sarah is shaken. She's now scared to go out in public. The fear in her eyes, a reflection of my own childhood terror, is a heavy burden, a weight I feel responsible for carrying. I've hired a private investigator to gather evidence of my mom's fraudulent activities. We need to shut this down to protect ourselves from her relentless pursuit. Update 7. The private investigator came back with some interesting information. The PI, a quiet, observant man named Mr. Davies, presented his findings with a professional detachment, but I could see the disgust in his eyes. Turns out, my mom isn't just lying about me, she's also lying about her rehab. She never completed the program. She was kicked out for violating the rules. Her lies, a web of deceit, extend beyond our personal conflict. She's also been using the donated money to gamble and buy drugs. The funds, meant for her recovery, are being squandered on her destructive habits. We have photos, videos, receipts, everything. The evidence is damning, a testament to her continued disregard for the truth. My lawyer is preparing a lawsuit. Miss Evans is confident, her determination unwavering. Update 8. We filed the lawsuit. Fraud, defamation, harassment, emotional distress. We're going for everything. The desire for self-preservation, a hard-won lesson from my youth, fuels my resolve, a fierce determination to protect the life I've built. The news is starting to pick up on the story. The poor, abandoned mother narrative is crumbling. The truth, however, slowly is beginning to emerge. My mom is now lawyered up. She's claiming she's the victim of a witch hunt. She's denying everything, her lies becoming more desperate, more outlandish. Update 9. The lawsuit is moving forward. My mom's lawyer is trying to get it dismissed, but the judge isn't having it. The legal system, though slow, is starting to work in our favor. The GoFundMe was finally taken down. We provided them with evidence of fraud and they refunded the donors. A small victory, but a significant step towards justice. My mom is now facing criminal charges. The consequences of her actions are finally catching up to her. Update 10. My mom was arrested, again. This time for fraud and drug possession. The relief is mixed with a profound sadness, a mourning for the mother I never had, a woman lost to addiction and deceit. She's now in jail, awaiting trial. The cold reality of her situation is a stark contrast to her fabricated narratives. The local news is having a field day. They're interviewing people who donated to her GoFundMe, people who gave her money at church. They're all feeling betrayed, their generosity exploited. I'm relieved, but also exhausted. The emotional roller coaster has taken its toll, leaving me drained and weary. Update 11. The trial is set for a few months from now. My lawyer says we have a strong case. Miss Evans is meticulously preparing, her focus unwavering. My mom is still denying everything. She's claiming she's being framed. Her delusions, her inability to accept responsibility are a constant source of frustration. My grandparents are heartbroken. They're still trying to understand what's happening. The conversation with them, a painful exploration of family dynamics, left a deep ache, a sense of loss for the innocence they once held. Sarah is being incredibly supportive. She's my rock. Her strength, a beacon in the storm, helps me navigate the darkness. Her love, a constant source of comfort. Update 12. My mom's lawyer tried to get a plea deal. We rejected it. We want a full trial. We want justice, not a quick resolution. We want justice, a public reckoning for her actions. Update 16. The trial started. The courtroom, a sterile environment filled with tension, became the stage for our family drama. It's surreal. Seeing my mom in a courtroom, facing criminal charges. Hearing the witnesses testify about her lies and manipulations. The weight of the past, a heavy shroud, settles over me. The memories resurfacing with painful clarity. It's like watching a movie, but it's my life. A tragic story playing out in real time. Update 13. The prosecution presented their case. We had photos, videos, financial records, everything. The evidence, meticulously gathered, painted a clear picture of her deceit. My mom's lawyer tried to paint me as a vengeful child, but it didn't work. The truth, however painful, has a power of its own, a force that cannot be denied. Update 14. My mom took the stand. She cried, she pleaded, she denied everything. Her performance, a desperate attempt to manipulate the jury, falls flat. The jurors, their faces etched with skepticism, are not swayed by her theatrics. The jury wasn't buying it. Update 15. The verdict is in. Guilty. On all counts. My mom was sentenced to several years in prison. The sentence, a consequence of her actions, brings a sense of closure, but not peace. I feel nothing, just empty. The absence of emotion, a strange numbness, is perhaps the most unsettling part of it all. The emotional exhaustion has left me hollow. Update 16. It has been a few years. My mom is still in prison, my grandparents have passed away, their hope for forgiveness, a wish I couldn't grant, still echoes in my heart. a lingering regret. Sarah and I are doing well. We have a child now, a little girl. The joy of parenthood, a complex mix of fear and overwhelming love, is a constant reminder of my own damaged childhood, a motivation to break the cycle of abuse. I still have nightmares, but they're less frequent. The flashbacks, though less intense, still linger like shadows, a constant reminder of the past. I'm in therapy, working through everything. The journey of rediscovering my identity, a long and arduous path, continues, a process of healing and growth. I'm trying to move on, to build a future free from the influence of my past. Sometimes I wonder if I did the right thing, if I should have given her another chance. The nature of forgiveness, a question I wrestle with daily, remains unanswered, a constant internal debate. But then I remember the abuse, the neglect, the lies. Creepy Carl, the memory of his touch, a brand on my soul, is a constant reminder of the harm she allowed, a betrayal that cannot be easily forgiven. And I know I did what I had to do. The importance of found family, the love and support Sarah provides, helps me to heal. A testament to the power of chosen connections. If you thought that was crazy, hit that like button and subscribe for more wild stories. And if you didn't quite enjoy it, feel free to hit the dislike. Your feedback means a lot. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think, or share your own experiences. And don't forget to check out my other videos for more insane tales. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.